Here are some hip openers that you can implement into your daily routine. I would recommend starting off with doing 2 rounds of at least 2 to 3 of the movements. And you can do them multiple times throughout the day if you wanted to just take like a 5-minute break from your desk to do some of the stretches. You'll also go into them to your range of motion, and over time, you'll be able to get a little bit deeper into the stretches. So you'll see what I mean when we come into them. So the first one is we're gonna take a nice long low lunge. So you're gonna place your right foot forward and you're going to come onto the knee. If you need extra support for your knee, you can add a blanket or a cushion or fold your mat in half. And what you're gonna wanna do is tuck your tailbone under, and then you can lean forward. So right away, you're gonna feel that stretch down the front of the hip flexor and into the quad. So you can just lean a little bit more forward, keeping the tailbone tucked to get into that stretch a little bit deeper. So you can stay there. If you wanna take it up a notch, you can come into that lean, and then you'll take the arms and lift them up overhead as you have that tailbone tucked in. So that's a low lunge, and you'll do that on each side. And again, you can hold it for a breath or two, come back. Hold for a breath, come back. Second stretch is a stretch called the world's greatest stretch. If it's the world's greatest, I don't know, but that's what it's called. So you're in that long lunge position. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna take your opposite hand, press it down into the mat. You got your elbow. The goal is to bring that elbow down into the instep of your foot. So we're trying to get the elbow essentially onto the mat. So we'll come all the way down and then turn and reach. Now, when you're reaching up, you wanna make sure you're taking your gaze with you past your fingertips. So we don't wanna just open and overextend. We wanna reach up. So we're thinking straight line all the way from fingertips all the way down to the hand. So I like to go about 8 to 10 times on each side before I switch. So that's going to be the world's greatest. Another great stretch is going to be a low squat. In yoga, it's called Lolasana. I mean, you're gonna come from a standing position and come down into a squat. Now, if this is as far as you go in your squat, that's totally fine also. So then you just come here, hold it, and then come out of the squat and come back up to stand. Now, if you're coming in nice and low, you can hold it here. You can also take your hands into prayer. Another option is to have a weight out front that will help to anchor you down. And what you're gonna wanna do is have the elbows against the knees, and you're gonna shift from side to side. So we're just kind of like greasing the grooves here, opening up the hips. And then come up out of the squat, and then come back down. Sorry if my head cut off. And then come back in, do the same thing. Good, come back out, and come back into the squat. And that's gonna be your Lolasana. Another good one is child's pose. And you can take your knees nice and wide as they can go, and you can take your hips all the way back. Now, this could be where your range of motion ends, that's okay. Again, remember, as you are going through these mobility exercises and you're doing them over time, then you'll create a little bit more space in the hips. So child's pose, coming all the way down and pushing those hips back so we can make it more of an active child's pose. We're pushing our hips back towards our heels and then walking those fingertips forward, pressing the palms into the mat and holding and taking a few deep breaths, walking the hands back up, little reset and repeat. Another pose that's similar to child's pose that's also great for opening up the hips is called frog pose. So in child's pose, you bring the heels together, but in frog pose, you don't bring the heels together. So I'm actually gonna show you frog pose from the front so you can see my legs. So we're taking the knees as wide as they can. And if you see, my ankles are almost in line with my knees. I've got the weight in my hands here. You can stay here the goal is you're trying to sit your hips all the way back. This is very, very juicy for the hips. So I would take this super, super slow, taking the hips back, rocking back and forth ever so gently, and ooh, yeah. So taking your time with it and breathing into it. So for this one, like I said, you want to do maybe 2 rounds of the sequence. And I would say, you know, pick like 2 or 3 that, or even 4, that you like doing, and just doing 2 rounds of them and doing it multiple times throughout the day. The last one that I will show you is 90-90. And what it is you want to bend your knees, take your feet wide, and you're going to be turning from side to side. When you turn from side to side, the whole point is that each of your legs are 90 degrees. So 90-90. So we're up, turning just ever so slightly, like little twist, and up, boom. So for the 90-90s, I usually like to do 8 on each side. So again, keep the hips nice and open as you're twisting. Again, trying to get 90-90. Just take a glance down to see, and you're like, oh, I just need to move my foot a little bit. 90-90. And those are some great hip openers. So again, I'll just go over everything really quickly. So we'll start from 90-90s. So we want to do about 8 per side with the child's pose and with the frog pose, you know, leaning back into the hips, just breathe into it, kind of rock back forward, lean back in, take another breath, lean forward. You can do that about 4 to 6 times. With the world's greatest stretch, like I said, I like to do 8 to 10 on each side. With that lunge, the low lunge, but the key with the lunge is the pelvic tilt. Again, I like to do about 8 to 10 rocking back on each side as well. And so those are some hip openers that you can use to implement into your daily routine. If you have any questions, let me know.